like short shorts?
I don't know. It's kind of just a thing that I started in college. You know, it gets pretty hot down there in the South, and that's just something I always rock with, and I've just always stuck with it. So it's something that stuck with me since my Auburn days.
Have you been able to convince any of your teammates to try it out?
No, they don't like it. I'll catch them in the locker room every now and then. I'm like, I see you, but they'll have them on for a few minutes going to get some work, obviously, in the treatment room and things like that. But they won't come out here and do it. I don't think they're that bold yet.
Derek Hall speaking at Seahawks training camp yesterday, and one man who's at training camp every day of the week is Gregg Bell of the News Tribune. And Greg, great to have you in studio here. You comfortable? You enjoying your recliner?
This chair, water. Yes, you guys live large.
Hall was having a little fun yesterday, wasn't he?
He was. He's an interesting guy. We know the backstory. The Super Bowl revealed his backstory of being born prematurely, 2 pounds 9 ounces. His mother was told he was not going to live, that he had a brain bleed and his breathing was such. He was born at 23 weeks. I had twins born at 30 weeks. It scared the hell out of me. I can't imagine. And he's now a $42 million Super Bowl champion linebacker. The trucks was, to me, the most. If I remember the first scene from Hard Knocks, it'll be his truck. He and his dad work on those trucks. It's a hobby for him. And that's what he loves to do. He's from Mississippi, they're south, and that's what he loves, his trucks. He's Dodge. He said, I'm a Mopar guy, Dodge guy. I even made the mistake of asking him, well, did you put the hydraulics in? Those aren't hydraulics, Greg. Those are airlifts.
You talk about that opening scene. It is unforgettable. But seeing him wheel in with that truck for sure, and it dropped down and all that stuff. But there's been a lot of talk about that episode 1 of HBO's Hard Knocks. It airs every Tuesday night, so we got to wait a whole week or so for another one. But, when you looked at this, all the chatter going around, what stuck out to you?
Well, the news of it was the Devin Witherspoon contract situation and the fact that John Schneider mentioned his stance that they want to get this done, and he was worried about Witherspoon's perception of reports that the Seahawks were offering him the biggest salary in NFL history for a cornerback and that he wasn't accepting it. That was from agents about the Denzel Ward negotiations in Cleveland, which ended up resulting in the highest paid cornerback now being Denzel Ward in Cleveland for $31.1 million a year. But it was the first time Devin Witherspoon had spoken about the issue. We're not allowed to talk to Devin Witherspoon. We're limited during the training camp with 90 players on the roster who we get to talk to. We don't get to come into the locker room to talk to whoever wants. So we haven't talked to Witherspoon. So that was the news of it. I thought, though, it really showed one thing. It showed off the Pacific Northwest, didn't it?
Man,
I mean, the Eagles at the opening scene and the Blue Angels.
I thought we were watching National Geographic with the Eagles there.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just gorgeous.
The Eagles right there.
Cue the Eagles, Greg. There we go.
There are many. I've been to a few training camps in my 25 years of doing this. None of them have that.
Yeah.
And none of them have the Blue Angels going overhead. No. So the NFL Films crew was smart to be heavy on that and to end the show with the Blue Angels because they just don't get that opportunity at NFL camp. The players from the South, from the SEC, where a lot of NFL players are, when they come to the Seahawks, to the training camp, they can't believe it. They stare at those Eagles. They just start like, the ball's hitting them in the side of the helmet because they're staring at the scene. The boaters coming back and coming by on Lake Washington, and the fact it's not 100 degrees and 90% humidity out here. That, yes, the players, every single year for the 20-plus years I've been doing this in Seattle, the players talk about the weather and the setting for training camp. And the first episode showed that off.
Yeah, I mean, the first episode showed off the beauty of the PNW. We're going to get into the running backs coach in a second, Greg, because that's why you had that strong language above the screen there. But you and I both love great inspirational coaches. And Coach McDonald, to me, came out in episode 1 and just really showed off why this team is bought into him, why he's a great leader. There were so many great scenes in my mind that showed why he is such a great coach.
The scene with Brady Russell on the field and reacting to what Russell took exception to Derek Hall, and the one Rubicon you don't cross is talking about a player's contract on the field. And the fact, there was a couple things there. One, Adam Dirty, the defensive coordinator, was a very good lieutenant there to his head coach, walking up to him and said, here's why Hall went crazy. Because they were talking about his contract on the field. And that's why McDonald reacted the way he did. That was a very Mike McDonald moment in leadership. I'm a West Point graduate. His dad was a West Point graduate, 1971, Hugh McDonald. Every day I see things that are straight out of the Army leadership manual that Mike McDonald does. It's fascinating for me because I didn't think a military approach would work in the NFL. He's made it work. And it was those moments with Brady Russell where he says, that was a chotch thing. That's one of McDonald's words, chotch, which I never heard of until he explained it to me what it was. But that was an uncool thing to do. But he did it in a way, it was immediate, it was effective, and then it ended with, we cool. It wasn't one-way conversation. It wasn't dictatorial. That's Mike McDonald. Guys, looking back, the 10-7 season of 2024 was so pivotal for him and his program. If they went 7-10 or 5-11, it would not have had the effect of the carryover of this guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
They brought in Ernest Jones. We all know they got rid of 2 inside starting middle linebackers mid-season because McDonald didn't like how Dodson and Baker were stopping the run. They promoted Tyree Snyder, rookie, to start. They traded for Ernest Jones, and the defense has taken off. They've been a number 1 defense in the league since that point. And it was after that 10-7 season of 2024 that people started saying, this 37-year-old rookie coach knows what he's doing. And that's when he got the buy-in for the players. I know the Seahawks didn't make the playoffs that year, but the buy-in they had from that 10-7 season spurred what happened last year, not to mention, of course, the culture and what they ultimately think is the reason they won the Super Bowl, how together they are.
Well, Chris brought up the running backs coach, Thomas Hammock.
Yeah, that was R-rated. I guess it was HBO.
Seriously, if it was a drinking game for F-bombs in that scene, you'd have been drunk in 60 seconds.
You're done. Imagine if you're a parent at home gathering your kids to watch your favorite football team, and you're watching that, and you see Thomas Hammock, the former...
no surprise, right? I watched him at rookie camp, and he was letting a couple of rookie running backs here and a couple.
He did, although in training camp with fans, you're right, he did that in mini camp, Chris.
But there was no fans out there. Yeah.
So in training camp, Thomas Hammock is savvy enough to not do that, what he did in the meeting room, because their fans 20 feet away. Yeah. And these drills you're seeing here, their fans are just to the left of the screen, so he doesn't do the F-bombs on the field like that. He was a head coach at Northern Illinois last year, so he has a savviness and awareness. They love him. Yeah. McDonald loves his mentality as a pro. You can see why. Smash him in the hole. That was like Marshawn Lynch coaching the running backs, that scene.
Hard to imagine JSN, Sam Darnold getting more in sync, but JSN had a big day at practice yesterday. You were there. What did you see from Jackson Smith-Njigba?
What reminded me about good Smith-Njigba is for the first time in 2 years yesterday, I saw Smith-Njigba and Darnold actually disconnect on a pass. It was with press coverage by Josh Jobe. Smith-Njigba ran straight down the field at him to try to go by him, and Darnold threw a back shoulder throw short, and the ball skidded about 5 yards behind everybody. And I noted, I don't think I've seen that in 2 years between Darnold and Smith-Njigba. Smith-Njigba is so good. The fact that he's not big is to his advantage for his body control, his leverage against defenders. I don't say this lightly because I watched him play and know him. Smith-Njigba is Steve Largent-like, and his body control, his precision in his routes, and his ability to put the defender in a bad spot when the ball's in the air. And, of course, Steve Largent's one of the best to ever do it, a Hall of Famer. The DK Metcalf trade is yet another master stroke by John Schneider for this franchise to clear the path for Smith-Njigba to become the All-Pro, the NFL Offensive Player of the Year. He would have never become that with DK Metcalf on the roster last year.
All right, let's talk about that offense a little bit. We've heard from Leonard Williams talking about Brian Fleury's offense. He said it was faster. What does he mean by that, and what have you seen out there?
Well, the pace. They want to get in and out of the huddle so they can get to the line. So Fleury, for those that don't know, in the NFL, the communications between plays between the coach and to the headset of the quarterback cut off at 15 seconds. So teams that can get to the line of scrimmage and look at the defense well in advance of 15 seconds get the advantage of the coach telling him what he sees from the box or the sidelines, or, hey, now we may need to go to Smith-Njigba. Oh, they've rolled coverage to Smith-Njigba. We may need to go to Barner on this. But if you get to the line soon, before 15 seconds, you have time to do that. If you're late and tardy getting out of the huddle, you can't. It's a little inside ball trick that teams do to get to the line. That's what Fleury's been emphasizing. Get into the line of scrimmage quickly. Make adjustments at the line after that. He also, it's obvious that he's going to involve the tight ends down the field more in the pass game. It's obvious that they're going to throw to the running backs a lot. The running backs I talked to say they have never had a route tree this intricate for running backs that they do under Brian Fleury. That means Smith-Njigba may not catch 1,800 yards worth of passes and 120, and Cooper Kupp's numbers might go down. But the offense as a whole may be more difficult to defend because now you have tight ends, Barner going down. I think Barner could be an all-pro type of tight end in this offense.
And Arroyo's look good, too.
Arroyo is benefiting from a former 49ers tight end coach being the new offensive coordinator, and Brian Fleury. The tight ends down the field for impact plays, not just check down dump offs, is a big change in this offense.
You mentioned running backs. As we talk about running backs a little bit, I think you'll look to HBO Hard Knocks. They already put a little focus on Jadarian Price. Zach Charbonnet, we've seen him there, Greg. He's been working out. You concerned with the stable and the depth at the running back position? I think this is something we're going to see on Hard Knocks, but we don't have to wait till Tuesday. We got Gregg Bell here today to give us the latest on the running back room.
Yes, there is a concern. You saw a scene in the first episode of Sam Ramsden, the head trainer. He's got vice president of player performance title, talking to John Schneider, and they're pointing to the corner of the depth chart at running back and how there are fewer magnets up there. Jacardi Wright has been a training camp preseason star and a practice squad player for this team. He just got injured the other day with a leg injury. He hasn't practiced the last 2 days. George Halani, a third-year undrafted rookie running back, they love him for his pass catching and his pass blocking. That's why he made the team out of Boise State as a rookie. But there's no doubt Jadarian Price will start week 1. Something will have gone wrong. I mean, really wrong, or an injury between now and September 9th if Price is not the starter as the first-round draft. That's why they drafted him in the first round. But after that, they think they know they might have something in Emmanuel Wilson, the free agent they'd signed from Green Bay in the offseason. He's starting to carve out a role with the first-team offense as a short yardage running back. He wears the same number as Eddie Lacy. He's not nearly as big as Eddie Lacy, but he runs like him. He's kind of a thudder, run over. They don't have a plow-type running back. He could possibly be that. He's on a one-year deal that's not very expensive that they could cut if he's not working out, but I'm seeing a role for him as a short yardage back. But Price is the clear number 1. They throw to him so much in practice, he looks like a bullpen catcher. I mean, he's constantly catching the ball from all 3 quarterbacks. He's been playing scrimmaging on all 3 first, second, and third team offenses to get reps in the pass game. And Thomas Hammock throws to him more than Mariners throw to Mariner catchers. He's just constantly throwing to Jadarian Price.
All right, Gregg does some great work for the News Tribune and has for decades. You have great stories every day. What's the latest feature you have out there?
Thanks, Frank. I appreciate that compliment. Noah Igbinoghene is the story I wrote at the News Tribune, newstribune.com. It's up right now. He is the son of Nigerian Olympians. His mother was a bronze medalist in the 4x100 meters in 1992 at the Barcelona Games while going through nursing school. His father was on the Nigerian Olympic team, their home nation, in 1996 Games in Atlanta as a long jumper and triple jumper. Noah Igbinoghene was a track star and a high school wide receiver turned Auburn wide receiver when he went to college. He didn't go to defensive back until his second year at Auburn. He played only 2 years at Auburn, left early to become a first-round draft pick of the Miami Dolphins. But he told me he didn't know how to play cornerback in the NFL. And he only started 4 games in 3 years for his first 3 years with the Dolphins. He loves him some Dan Quinn. I mean, we all know about Dan Quinn in the Northwest, but I have rarely met a player from another team that loves Dan Quinn more than Noah Igbinoghene. Why am I talking about him? Because yesterday he was the first-team nickel. Devin Witherspoon got a veteran rest day, but Igbinoghene has been getting some time in nickel and dime. He can return kicks. He's done that before, a track guy. He's going to be the veteran cornerback, it appears, that they need with the departures of Woolen and Kobe Bryant. They need some experience in that secondary, and it looks like Noah Igbinoghene, who maybe wasn't on anybody's radar, is going to make the team in that role. But he's got a great backstory. He's got a great appreciation for Dan Quinn. Of course, all of us in Seattle that have covered Dan Quinn really appreciate him.
Story up now, newstribune.com.
Newstribune.com right now, thanks.
Subscribe, get on there,
99 cents for 6 months. Not 99 cents per month. It's 99 cents for the entire 6 months.
I shouldn't do math on the air,
can't do
Greg.
anything.
I shouldn't do
It's
math on the air, Greg, but that's less than a penny a day.
Yeah, it is. That's good math.
Thank you.
But that 99 cents for 6 months, I mean.
And you get on, just get on and watch it, listen to his articles, read his articles.
Appreciate that.
And I say all that because, Paul, he's a Swiss Army knife. He's got his own show on KGR Sports Radio. He's on the News Tribune, and he's on our show. We love him, and because of folks like Greg, this show has done well, and we're moving to King 5 next week, 3 o'clock. So the show's moving thanks to people like Greg, so we appreciate that. And not only
checks in the mail. Appreciate
It's like the promotion hour between the News Tribune and this guy pumping 3 o'clock next week. Get to the point.
All right, my point is this. He does it all, Paul. Not only talk talk Seahawks.
Thank you.
On KJR, he's got to talk Mariners. Little fight, not a fight. Bench is
on
clear.
fire.
A little
That counts as a fight for the Mariners. If the bench is clear, if they actually got out of the dugouts, that counts as a
we
fight.
talked about at the beginning of the show, Greg. I like a little fire. I like a little life.
It's about time, isn't it?
Will this help?
An ejection? Man, how many times have we said, is this the corner they're turning?
Yeah.
Are they finally turning a corner?
Will this spark like the fire? Yeah.
They need a fewer 100 hitters before they start turning corners. Let's just say that. But yeah, they live and die by the home run. They hit home runs last night, they win. They don't hit home runs, they lose. That's a tough way to go about business over 162. But we'll see. Is this the latest corner turning? They get the trash cans next week in Houston. If they can stay within 4 games, they get the trash cans.
It's a tough August. It's a tough August.
Yankees on the road next week.
Yeah.
Trash cans in Houston.
We know you do that show on KJR, so you get a chance to kind of see what viewers are talking about. And is there a frustration level with you with this team?
Yes. If there is one fan base in North American sports that deserves to be ticked off, it's Seattle Mariner fans. 50 years without a World Series. They get within 8 outs of the World Series. They think, John Stanton was talking about World Series on opening day. I wrote a story at the News Tribune covering the opener, and they're under 500 in the weakest division in the history of the sport. How is this possible? Of course there's frustration. They should be burning down. They could be burning down T-Mobile Park for how this is 50 years. Yeah. These people deserve something.
Greg, we're celebrating 50 seasons this weekend.
Are we? Yes, we are. Let's bring out some home run derbies, some more hot dogs from the sky. Of course, I would be.
Maybe a raccoon another night for the raccoon.
It's a Jimothy night on Friday.
They got 41,000 in the park last night for Jimothy night on a Wednesday in August. What are we doing, man? Let's get to the World Series.
Thank you.
I only moved here in '94, and I feel frustrated. Imagine being an original Mariners season ticket holder. Yeah. How much money and time you sunk into a team that's never been to the World Series. Yeah. Let the pitching staff.
Greg, I was going to games in the Kingdom in the 70s. Exactly. I've been there.
I was in the Kingdom. I remember the ceiling tile falling from that place.
Man.
We got a team a pitching staff that should be in the World Series. Let's go.
Well, we heard
Don't give me Jimothy night. Give me a World Series, please. We got 8 pitchers.
We heard it in the first segment of the show. Brian Wu saying it's been ugly. It's been ugly, but if we stick together, they have a feeling things are going to work out. Yeah. We'll see. They got to start going out. Time is ticking.
To Greg's point, I mean, it's the worst division in baseball. I mean, they're going to be in this thing till the end of September.
Exactly. They'd still be under 500.
That's right.
Exactly.
All right,
I feel your pain, man.
I said it early on the show, Paul. We're grading by a curve in the American League West.
Sure are,
and you know what? We may end up with an A
those
because of that.
Those are all DF students.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Actually get an A.
Yeah.
Get 1 win streak and they're going to be in first place.
There it is.
Come on, Jimothy night.
Oh, man, great to have Gregg Bell on the show. If you want to read Gregg some Seahawks stories, subscribe to the News Tribune. And if you want to listen to him every day, he has his own show on Sports Radio 93.3
99 cents, Paul, for 6 months.
You
Less than a penny a day.
I tried to get it cheaper. They wouldn't let me.
That's the best deal on the planet. Thanks, Greg. Great to have you on.